Yo, sports fam, listen up. This is the Coach's Corner Unfiltered podcast, where we bring the heat. We're talking scorchers, game changers, and straight fire analysis. We keeping it 100. Let's go!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. I am Clarence Jones. I'm here with the coaches of Voorhees University. So I'm going to go ahead and we have a round table. First off, to my right, to your left, I have the baseball coach for Voorhees University, Norman O'Neill. I was about to say his cousin, but I'll leave that out. Right next to me, to my left, I have the women's head coach, Coach Edward Glover. And over to the far left, I have the men's head coach for basketball for Voorhees University, of course, the great James Williams. Thank you, gentlemen, once again for joining me here for this edition for Coach's Corner. First off, I'm going to start with you, Coach Williams. How have you been since the off season?
I've been good, man. Just trying to make sure maintain the program, recruiting, getting all the stuff in for the recruits, and just making sure we filled out the team for the 24-25 season, get the schedule done. Then identifying 25s and 26s and 27s that we want to target to bring here, as well as trying to make some upgrades and improvements just overall for the student experience when they, come back to campus in August.
Gotcha. Go to the legend here. I know they call you great, but it's the legend right here.
I don't know about all that.
How's your off season been so far, sir?
Working. I'm here today working on my day off. It's never, as a coach, it's never a day off. You try to have some, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to maintain, trying to make sure we get everything we need for this upcoming season. Making a change to the new conference. It's going to be big. It's going to be pivotal. So we want to, kind of make a splash at it.
Right.
First year, like I've always tell y'all, but recently, not always tell y'all, but recently, I think I'm more years behind me than in front of me. So I want to take it now. I got time to be building for the future. It's about now.
Right. Gotcha. Coach O'Neill.
Definitely busy. Got my little ladies down for the summer, so a lot of bluey, nail painting, face painting. But definitely as far as the recruit side, I'm definitely just trying to, like Coach Williams said, just trying to finalize everything, getting the guys acclimated to how we do things in the college. I'm trying to get them to get stuff done prior to getting to campus. So that way, once they get here, we can get the ball rolling.
Mm. Now, of course, Voorhees Athletics are going to a new frontier. We are moving out of our old conference to a new conference, the HBCU conference, which officially will begin for the 24-25 athletic season. So just want to get your initial thoughts about the new territory that Voorhees University is going in, and what are your thoughts and as far as the schools that now, I guess they'll become new rivals per se. So I'll start with you, Coach O'Neill. What do you think your thoughts about moving into the new HBCU conference?
Definitely excited. Like I was telling the guys prior to the end of the season, as far as the outlook of as far as where we're going, as far as the athletic department. Definitely just some of the connections I have with the coach as far as the network, knowing some of them competed against a few. So kind of knowing what we're going to go against, but also trying to, like Coach Gloves, to make that splash our first year. Definitely excited. Just overall, just being in a conference with all HBCUs, I think it's kind of make you feel like home. I can't think that we're going to go in there and just dominate, because it's great baseball. Yeah, HBCUs, institute special ones we're going against.
Gotcha. Coach Glover?
Well, going into the HBCU AC, formerly known as the GCAC, it's somewhat familiar to me. We did it some years ago, and it's been a while. We were on the stadium for 2 years. To the players, everybody else, it's going to be brand new. Mm-hmm. Going to uncharted territories. Some of the teams we have played in the past, there's some kind of rivalry. Played Talladega on the women's side this past homecoming, and we're getting taught and chanted at their homecoming because we played them there. So I remember one guy specifically in the stands going off and rattling off some facts about the Voorhees versus Talladega. So it's going to be intense everywhere we go in that conference. Every game is going to be on another level, and it's going to be different. You play like schools. Mm-hmm. You're just going to get, and a lot of those teams have pep bands and everything else that's going to be in the gym. Strong followings, strong fans, strong student body. So it's going to be interesting.
Gotcha.
They said all the words like uncharted territory, exciting. I think it's all that. I think for me, the biggest thing is how our students are going to react to the environments. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot different when you go to Campbellsville, Kentucky, and you play, and you look in the crowd, and you go to Oakwood. And that's the last time we was at Oakwood, it was packed. You know what I'm saying? And they right there on top of you, and there's people walking across you as you trying to call signals to you guys and stuff like that. So like the intimacy of the atmospheres, but also I'm nostalgic. You know what I'm saying? These are some historical places that we're gonna go into, and I think for our students from that standpoint, it's gonna be pretty awesome for them to walk in some of the places, the hallowed places, the hallowed grounds, that we'll be on. I don't know if this generation kind of takes that in, but I know for me, it's going to be something that I take in everywhere I go. Like, man, this particular person was at this institution, or this person was at this institution. Like the history, in these places. I think that's a big thing. But as far as my athletes and just me, I think all the words the guy said.
How has this movement to the new HBCU conference affected recruiting, or has it affected recruiting at all?
Well, not for me. I'm always try to get. I started D1 and work my way down. You know what I'm saying? As far as like levels, so I've always had the mindset of, especially for recruiting, like you want to be a level above. And there's some great basketball in the GCAC. It's from an X's and O's standpoint. The talent, is definitely there. For the GCAC. And there's some good coaches that do some good things, on the floor. But as far as recruiting, you got to keep continuing to get better. I think you always got to go a level above anyway. So,
gotcha, Coach.
Well, not just the former GCAC will be known as the HBCU AC. That's a mouthful, but the NAIA itself, it's tough competition up and down. So we have to go in, prepared almost the same way we've had. But, it's just going to be, the atmosphere is going to be different. The competition level is going to be there. We play some tough teams in the CAC, which is the Continental Athletic Conference. But this time, we're there. A lot of times the CAC, some teams we face in the tournament, we didn't face them in the regular season. But now you're going to face a team at least one time. And it's going to be division play in basketball, and you're going to face the division side twice, home and home. So it's going to be interesting. Very interesting, especially when it comes to playing away from our venue.
Will it be any pods this year?
Yes. So
okay.
We won't be hosting one this year.
Okay.
But we will be going to.
Okay.
Going to 2 of them.
I really enjoyed those pods.
They enjoy you too.
Because I think the pod really put Voorhees University on the map. That's number one, because a lot of folks checked out, what are we about? And I believe at some point down the road, we should host at least another pod.
I didn't help with all them overtime games.
Right. But it helped our viewership though.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Definitely did.
Yes, it did. Please like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember that. Coach Neal, what about? I know you mentioned it. I just want to bring it up again that you said that there's going to be some good baseball teams going into this new conference. Could you kind of elaborate on that, and then also the second part, your recruiting?
Definitely, as far as going into conference, Talladega is going to be a powerhouse. This year they won the conference, and they went to a regional, played against LSU Shreveport, which is a ranked team actually. Went 2-2 in that whole region. So honestly, going into that, a lot of people didn't expect them to do as good, but Coach Dominguez does a great job in recruiting, especially international players. As far as recruiting, just like these coaches, I always try to recruit up, because if I try to recruit on the level that we are, then I'm kind of doing myself this disservice and stuff. So I always try to get guys, that some people say, oh, you don't have a chance at. You never know. You try to get those guys, they got the D1 offers and stuff, but you never know what they're looking for. Sometimes these kids want to have an HBCU experience or a small field. So definitely just trying to get guys that's going to help me compete every day, and try to have guys that's going to actually be eligible on and off the field. That's the longevity of it for us.
Right. Now, as far as recruiting, does this move into another conference opens up the door for, say, more out-of-state recruits to come in, or I would say more on the D1 level as far as South Carolina recruiting those folks to come in? Does that open the door up a little bit more?
Well, it's going to change your footprint. Now you're going to be playing in places where you can get some recruits maybe out of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, even far reaches as Texas,
Ohio.
And I've had players from all of those states in my career here. But now it gives them a sense of now you have a game that you'll be playing there.
Right.
You know, it may not be this upcoming year, but possibly the next, the way the schedule format will fall. So it does help out. And then those high school coaches will be at those games. And I remember that's how some connections we've had and still have, you know, they come to the games, come out and stand, hey coach, I got somebody who, you know, you'd be interested in, you know, things like that. So it works out.
Okay.
I think for me, it doesn't. The footprint, definitely, you know, more eyeballs on the V. But I'm international, so I'm all over.
Yes, there you are.
Yeah, we got two young men coming from, you know, out of the country, and I'm pretty much, I try to be off, you know, 50 states. You know, if there's talent and I can see them, and you know, from the standpoint of email or Twitter or video, I'll try to recruit them. Just, you know, I might not be able to get to see you live with my eyes,
right?
But I can establish a relationship and then, you know, through my connections, be able to say, hey, is this player somebody worth it or something like that?
Coach,
I was about to say, definitely. I just remember last year, well, my first year when we went to Stillman, having the VU bus. At the time, it was Voorhees College, but marketing standpoint, like a lot of schools, a lot of people, high schools don't know about Voorhees bus going those different regions now. Like Coach said, tapping into those markets where we might not have a pipeline, but now we're building that pipeline because now we can tell the recruit, hey, we do play Dillard or we play Suno or we do go to Wiley, Texas every other year and stuff. So it helps us out far as getting a bigger reach and stuff. But I don't try to stay locally because a lot of coaches do have like a pipeline to like certain states and stuff, which is not wrong with it. You can find a good bed of talent somewhere, but sometimes you have to go out, get that kid out in Texas or Wyoming. Or Indiana, I got a kid coming from Indiana this year and stuff. So
really,
yeah. So I mean, definitely, it's just trying to broaden our reach and stuff. I feel like it's going to help us out.
Recruitment changes.
Yeah,
it doesn't stay the same every year.
Yeah.
It just depends where your connections at.
Team needs.
Yeah, what you're trying to bring in, what you're trying to do. And this is going to be new with us with baseball, softball for this conference. And last time we were on that side, it was only men's and women's basketball and volleyball that participated in conference play, and all those schools still stayed with the independents. Well, that's going to be new for us, those two sports coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, we take a huge hit. I do, because they say I don't recruit South Carolina. Most of my team from Georgia, right? Talk about relationships. But also with the changing in recruiting, talent pools. You know what I mean? Like, and then the people that are around these recruits, they always, because they look at where you are, they'll assume you don't get the training level. Like the level thing bothers me a lot because I'm like, all right, you rather go to this school and sit the bench when you could come here and play and develop. You know what I'm saying? And the way things now with the transfer portal, especially for men's basketball, you can come to a place like here. If you ball out and you do great, what if you don't do great? You know what I'm saying? Right. So like I try to encourage, you know, young people all the time, like, come watch my practice. Come see the opponents we play.
Right.
If you think, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like some of these kids are like, you'll struggle in my practice if you gon', you know what I'm saying, look down on Voorhees in that situation. So, but I agree with these guys.
But the thing about it is, it seems like Voorhees and under the new moniker of Next Level of Excellence, you figure that's all the way around, especially in the athletic field now, because of how now the cameras and there's going to be more, I guess, more of a sense of people watching or at least looking out as y'all go to different states now to say, well, I never heard of this Voorhees, but I know this team and now I can check Voorhees out and check what they're about. Because I'm going to be honest with me, as far as colleges go, I didn't know about a South Carolina State until I saw them on TV playing in the Heritage Bowl. And I said, oh, that's HBCU. I always wanted to go to HBCU, but I didn't want to go to Howard, didn't want to go to Hampton, none of that stuff. You know, nothing against them. I'm, good schools, but I wanted to go to a school that I never really hardly heard of before. But South Carolina State came up. So I think this opportunity is the same way for Voorhees. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like I was just thinking about the time when I was in California for admissions, and trying to get all the HBCUs out there and stuff that was introducing those kids to that different experience from what they're used to. And I'm asking about Voorhees, and people was like, oh, Jason Voorhees, like Friday Night 13th and stuff. And I was like, no, not that family. You know what I'm saying? A totally different family. But like you said, it gives you a bigger reach and stuff. And people start understanding, like now they start looking up your history and like now understand that we're the first HBCU founded by African-American woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people starting to hear that and stuff. So I think it's a good thing for us.
And it's a good documentary out there. So if you want to check it out, it's a great documentary. You could go on YouTube page, the Voorhees University 1897, and check out that documentary on Miss Wright's career and her founding of Voorhees University.
And then too, Clarence, it depends on who you talk to when it comes to Voorhees University and then the HBCUs. I was at a basketball clinic here. I know before COVID, Leonard Hamilton saw me with my Voorhees shirt on, and he stuck out and said, Voorhees, I know where that is. In Marks, South Carolina. And, you know, then I also had to give him the fraternity, a fraternity brother of mine. And we sat down and had a little conversation, but he knew about Voorhees and significance of HBCU, and especially HBCU basketball. I tell anybody, if you're a basketball enthusiast and you say you know the game, have you seen the video Black Magic? I mean, hey, that will give you a big insight. That's just part of the story.
Right.
We have a rich legacy and history when it comes to HBCU basketball, and take Voorhees right in there, especially when it comes to our storied men's basketball team. I tell some coaches, especially on the men's side, don't come in saying you're the first to do something now. we had a coach some years ago, and he got thrown up under the bus by coming and said he was the first to do this and first to do that. Those Voorhees alumni legends, I'm going back to the guys in the 60s, pretty much hammered him because they had done a lot of that stuff and some. With the one lost undefeated teams to winning the championships. So you know, you got to, and then sometimes that history is hard to find, but it's there.
It's there. It's definitely there. Now, Coach, did you want to add anything to it? Okay.
I follow Glover.
Gotcha. Hard man to follow sometimes, you know.
No, just don't do what I do. You follow me, just don't do what I do.
I got you. I wanted to kind of go back as far as campus life here and how important athletics is, especially at smaller schools, and how much important, doesn't matter the sport, but how important it is, because I've done basketball games where I've seen the whole baseball team out there and they cheering, and vice versa. Some of the basketball, the men's and women's going out to the baseball games and softball games. How is it that it seems like through athletics, you see more of that community together as far as being at a small school? Do you agree with that?
No, I totally agree. Like I if not for the baseball team, a lot of times, you know, I can hear those guys, and there's not a lot that I hear when I am coaching, because I've grown to just block out background noise. But like you could hear and see those guys, and then also me, Coach O'Neill's been very inviting, allowing me to, be in the locker room, be in the dugout and see how he interacts with his team. I learn from other coaches, other sports, you know what I'm saying? Not just basketball. I learn from baseball coaches. I learn from football coaches. I definitely have that mentality. But I think, especially here, because we are small, right? They have a shared experience,
Right.
Baseball, basketball, women's basketball, softball, track, they all have the shared small school, us against the world kind of, I came here because if I didn't have anywhere else to go or they wanted me kind of deal. So I think they all, whether they know it or not, have that shared experience. And that's kind of what breeds that, what you see.
Gotcha. Coach, do you want to add?
Yeah, and I know we the landscape we're in, the conference we're in, where we're playing now. But I just remember, we were in the Eastern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and they were like schools, and they were in, driving distance. There were so many students that would come to those games and travel from every college, and most schools were here in South Carolina. So you had those natural rivalries. We've lost some of that because, those schools have moved on to Division II. Right now, the only one we still had still playing most recently was Allen University, year in and year out, men and women. And that kind of fills it out when they went Division II. Morris College has been a rivalry the past few years, but probably been since I've been here. So the students, used to could drive the games, and now with the footprint goes so far, they're gonna see it now on YouTube or how whatever platform is on. It's not gonna be there. It's gonna be like we're gonna be on an island when we travel.
Right.
But that's something we've gotten used to over the years. Not having that support behind the bench, and to recruit in those areas, like when we go to Alabama, Mississippi, and those places, we're gonna have a few people behind us because we have a couple of kids from out that way. But it's gonna be the parents, family members, stuff like that. But not like it was in the past when you had that whole student body sit behind you. And you can go back to we played Claflin a couple years ago, and I was at an elite camp this past weekend. And Claflin's current women's coach, who was on the men's side, he was talking about that game. And he said, having that student body that came in, he said, y'all had a whole section right there that cheered y'all on and got y'all back in that game. Yeah. And, that's that sense of rivalry that's missing, where students can get to see each other. And, a lot of them have friends at some of these schools, the local schools like Benedict, Claflin, Morris, Allen, and in this footprint. So, we'll see. That's something that's hopefully is down the line and, say going to the next level of excellence. Not taking nothing away from the NAIA, NAIA guy, but most of our rivals are Division II now, NCAA, playing the SIAC or the CIAA.
Now, I wanted to get into something might be a little bit controversial, but I want to discuss it anyway. You mentioned the NAIA. Now, it's just me, but I'm just looking at it as a fan, as a HBCU fan, whether it's the NCAA or NAIA. And it seems like the NAIA, NCAA always kind of gives HBCU the short end of the stick in terms of, I guess, help out or I would say funding and whatnot. So just want to get your thoughts, because now we're getting into, as you mentioned, a bigger footprint, but a bigger footprint needs more funding at the time. And it seems like the NAIA, I don't know if they neglecting us or whatever the situation may be, but just want to get your thoughts, or am I crazy and they helping everybody out on an equal basis? So,
you want this canceled before you want this podcast canceled before we even not just playing.
No. I'm just
no. From the standpoint, I understand what you're saying, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say. I think the answer is twofold. Part of it's our fault, right? Part of it's our fault because we should have the mentality of we're going to promote ourselves, right? We should be able to do a little things for ourselves. And I think the other part is, and the other part to our behalf is not exposure, but participation.
Right.
Participation in the things that are important, right? And then there's also, I can see some of the things where we get shafted. I know from and I'm only speaking for men's basketball, the rating system. You know what I'm saying? Because those institutions may have more money in the NAIA or NCAA, right? They have more hands in the pot. They get more. It's almost like the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Right.
And so for us, I think, but we also could do a better job of promotion, the quality of promotion. You know what I mean? There are things that we could do on our end to better promote our student athletes, to better promote our sports. I don't think it's the NCAA or the NAIA's job to do that. But I also know that when we are in those rooms, we need to have just strong enough voice. And I think that's where I don't think we are participating in the process because we have that mentality of, the system's rigged against us. But nah, participation matters. You know what I'm saying? The more voices, like Congress and Senate, the more voices, the more strong voices, healthy voices that we have in the Senate and the Congress, the better off our interests to be. And I don't think we as the HBCUs have enough participation to have our interests heard or even met in that standpoint.
So you would say we need more voices out there, prominent voices out there to lead the charge as far as HBCU respect.
Yeah, excellence, okay. Right? Like even when you use that word excellence, don't send me don't send me a Howard if Howard don't have a roster that can compete with a Duke. But if Howard's got a roster that can compete with Duke, now you're gonna get more eyeballs on that because in that NCAA game, right? If that's the first round opponent or something like that, that talent, the talent is there, right?
Yeah.
So that's the doing things of excellence. But don't send me a team that is 0-30 going up against a 25-2 Duke. Like that just makes us look, it makes us look bad. You know what I'm saying? That situation. So I think, but that's an individual quality thing. Like, you know, it goes back to me recruiting. I go after guys who might be D1 guys. And I don't say because I'm an HBCU. No, I'm James Williams, the head men's basketball coach at Voorhees, and I'm recruiting you because I think you're talented. I have that mentality whether I was at Duke or if I was at Voorhees. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a Duke mentality, and I think that's sometimes we don't have the highest level of expectations of ourselves, and you can't come in asking for a seat at the table. Sometimes you got to go in and take it, and I think that's a historical thing with African Americans.
I was about to say, like, a lot of HBCUs, a lot of people have sight, but they don't have vision. So basically, they're comfortable. They don't like change. So sometimes if you look at the big D1s or the big powerhouses and stuff, they have people that want change. And like you said, they're like trendsetters or they force themselves at the table. So sometimes HBCUs are comfortable and they like, hey, we're our own, we want to keep our own. Sometimes you got to branch out to kind of get more and stuff. So
gotcha. You get the last one.
Well, that question is political. The HBCU purists will go back to something else. I'm not going to bring that up on this podcast, but they will go back to something else when it comes to that, because I've had an opportunity to relate. A lot of those coaches and are gone now.
Right.
They don't have voice say that, but I can remember some of the things, I've heard over the years. And what I don't want to say what they told me was probably one of the biggest things that hurt us. I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
I'm not going to go there. But Power 5.
That's for the...
Oh, man.
I'm not going there. I'm not going
got me on the
there.
edge.
But Power 5.
behind the scenes stuff.
I just look at Power 5. All right. Power 5 dictate everything when it comes to the college landscape. You got schools playing on the West Coast, in the Midwest. And the East Coast.
and the ACC, yeah.
So I'm like, it doesn't make sense geographically, but it makes sense
Money-wise.
Yeah.
I got you.
And it has some kind of trickle-down effect. Look how what happened with us right now. We're going some far reaches. It's not a geographic, Wilberforce in Ohio.
Right.
But that's up there.
Virgin Islands and whole
Virgin Islands, yeah.
whole other body of water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it has a trickle-down effect. But I understand what you're saying. It would be nice that trickle-down effect could be monetarily, financially.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say this, and we're going to take this quick break. The reason why I brought this up because the 5 conferences, the non-power conferences that handed down a ruling about the NIL deals, that there's going to be a trickle effect. And I said, how come it needs to be a real trickle effect if you want to have some kind of change in college athletics? But I just feel like HBCUs is going to get the short end of the stick. And I don't think it's fair, because I think if you are on a collegiate athletic level, then you should be treated as a collegiate athletic level.
And not just HBCUs, just small
schools.
guys.
Small schools, yeah. The small schools always, the smaller market schools are going to get edged out of things. Yeah. That's why I say there has to be a system. You have to have leaders who have the creativity and the foresight to not necessarily take what's happening at the top as the say so and say, we're going to create, this for our athletes. So
gotcha.
And you almost think, what can you do? Football has 2 separate divisions. The bowl subdivision and the playoff.
FCS,
the FCS. So that bowl subdivision, you see where they're going. Now, if you look at it, you say, oh, aren't they following the footprint of the FCS schools with playoffs? Yes, they are, but they see the money involved with it now. One time it was like, we can't play bowls, it's class time and all that.
They don't care now more.
Now they don't care anymore. But That was during the holidays. Who was going to class? Who was in class during that time?
Right.
So all those excuses go out the window because that was that thing. Those old, back them old heads, those bowl games. Number 1 versus number 2. They tried to figure out because one time number 1 would not meet number 2 in a bowl game.
Right.
Number 1 might be playing somebody else. Yeah, there you go.
Well, the newspapers.
Yeah, it had
used
to
to
right
yeah.
So football is dictating everything. What's saving basketball and the other sports is the madness. The March Madness. But there's some madness in baseball.
Yeah, I'm about to say
some madness in softball,
right.
sport. But in football, it just a big
that's the money
for us.
Footprint.
It just they get more scholarships than the smaller schools when it comes to football. So that's a lot of times you see some upsets, but we won't see an upset like that in the playoff because they've already separated.
Right.
So you won't see a HBCU school making that playoff. You'll see us in the FCS level on that, but we won't be able to make that move unless we can get a school to be able to join a Power 5. And it's not always about enrollment with a Power 5 either.
No, it's not.
Wake Forest is not a big school.
No. As a matter of fact, I think Wake Forest is the smallest school in the ACC, if I'm not mistaken.
It's just like what like you say, what you want to invest into.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna take a break right now, and we'll be right back. And when we get back, we're gonna talk some major things that's going on, that's taking place. And all I have to say is Clark. We'll be right back.
At Voorhees University, we don't just educate, we ignite the spark of transformation. Our students are more than scholars. They are trailblazers, advocates, and visionaries who are shaping the future. Our students are not passive observers. They actively volunteer in their communities, mentor the next generation, and champion social justice. A Voorhees education is a launchpad for leadership. Our alumni are innovators, entrepreneurs, and change agents who leave a lasting impact on the world. Imagine yourself joining this extraordinary community, discovering your passions, and honing your talents. At Voorhees, your potential is limitless. Voorhees has cultivated a tradition of academic rigor, character development, and unwavering commitment to our students' success for over a century. Take the first step towards a life of purpose and impact. Visit our website at voorhees.edu or schedule a campus tour. The next chapter of your story begins here at Voorhees University, the next level of excellence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second segment of Coach's Corner. I am Clarence Jones, and once again, just wanted to set up my guests here. To my right, I have the men's baseball coach, Coach Norman O'Neill. Right next to me here, I have the women's basketball coach, Coach Edward Glover. Legend, yes, legend. And then, of course, the great James Williams. Humble. That's what he said. Humble.
Yes. I gotta get it.
The humble James Williams. Hey, I got to give you a nickname.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. We'll figure it out just before baseball season. All right. So,
O'Neill.
yeah, right. All right. So, when I left on a cliffhanger, and I brought up this name, Clark, and Caitlin Clark, ladies and gentlemen, it seemed like it's been kind of a lightning rod of conversations from everything. Is she's being treated unfairly in the WNBA to the subject that we're about to talk about, being snubbed from the U.S. Olympic women's team. Of course, the Olympics is right around the corner. And of course, one of the biggest names, I'm going to say one of the biggest names in women's basketball, whether it's college or pros, is Caitlin Clark. And apparently she is left off of the women's U.S. national team for the upcoming Olympics. And fellas, I just want to get your reaction to this, because just looking on the internet, we have a lot of yays and nays. I'm just going to say that, and a lot of explanations. But I just wanted to get your thoughts. Jay Will, I'm going to start with you about Caitlin Clark and her impact in women's basketball. And is it right for her to be left off of the U.S. Olympic team?
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think she's just very polarizing, right? She had a storied, she was good in college, like, right? And so you got people now following the women's basketball, more eyeballs, on it. So I can understand why there's a lot of hoopla. But I think one of the most underrated things about people that they don't understand about coaching is team building. And especially for us at our level, right? It being a small school, a lot of what I do is roster development. We essentially are general managers, right? Like where you're trying to piece together a team. I think about the Celtics, how Brad Stevens has put together that team, right? And I think that's what the USA team was. I think that if you look at the women that are on that particular team or just the history, even going back to the 96 women's team that they did the documentary on, there was a camaraderie and chemistry. And I think I've seen the five or six people that are on the committee, right? And they're legends. They're legends that are on committee. Don Staley, Delisha Milton, like they're on that committee. I think the biggest factor that they took into it was the overall construction, the team building. And I don't know if Caitlin, and I'm gonna say this, right?
Go ahead.
She has some bad body language at times. Like there are some things about her that may not be conducive to the team concept, right? For what they trying to build. And she may grow. She is gonna grow. I think she's gonna get better. I think she's gonna grow into a all-time great, right? I believe that based upon her skill set and what she can do with the ball. But I don't think it just fit this year's team. And I think because of they might have already had it preset for the type of group, the 12 that you got to put together. Because you got to put 12 pieces that all fit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't just going out there chucking and jacking and shooting. Because the women's game is geared towards the team concept more than anything. The pieces have to fit in a certain way. Whereas in the men's game, it's a lot of, you have guys that can go one-on-one. And we proven that we're not very good against the international guys when we play individual basketball and we don't play in the team concept. That ball's not moving if people aren't moving, if we're not defending, which is what the international game does at a high level. We're going to lose.
That is why
they had to make Dream Team and why they had to do the Redeem Team, right? Those two teams had to come together. You know what I'm saying?
The Olympics changed the way we look at international basketball. I mean, that night we got beat in '88, and that was a Hall of Fame roster in 1988, where it was college guys. What were the other teams doing? They're putting pros out. Soviet Union had a team that just built. It was built for the Olympics. And agreeing with Coach Williams, they were building that. This is not like, we come to try out for a team and be the best person. No, they're building that from after the last Olympic. They started working on this one because and with the national team, they started working. And Caitlin's played on some national teams. Yeah, she'll be there. What's next? 2028.
Yeah, she'll be there.
Hands down. But women, it has to be that right fit, that camaraderie. And if you have seen the documentary with that USA team back in 96 team that was in Atlanta, they had that. That was the dream team for women. And to this day, they still have that.
And they didn't like their coach. They had something that they fought for. They didn't like their coach. Like they bonded how I like teams to be. If you gonna bond together for something, that's turn that.
Bring it together.
Shout out to our former player and coach, student assistant last year, Malachi Johnson.
Yeah,
his mother played on that team.
Wow.
Yeah.
His mom in the Hall of Fame?
McLean.
Yeah.
Like Naismith Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
She actually had a niece that played for me some years ago.
I have to give her a shout out because she watched us on streaming
Yeah, she does.
a lot. So I got to give her a shout out to her.
Very humble.
She is. She coaching in Charleston now. She's a women's coach in Charleston.
Okay. I did not know that. Blew my.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's why I like to have conversations with people. And believe me, if I look back at it, I wouldn't change anything. I might would change some monetary in my pocket, as far as coaching, but just the relationships, that were built over the years. And when Antonio Robinson, let me call her Tony, it coming here, like that's my aunt and all that stuff, I just happened to put it together. Especially with social media, you're like, hold a minute. Huh? Wait a minute. These pictures together and you see all this and that.
Right.
What's the guy? And I'm shouting their family. I was like, I own Power. Y'all watch Power?
Yeah.
Power, the 50 Cent.
Yeah. What's the family?
I've never watched Power.
Mary J. Blige and her family.
I can't remember the name.
The one that plays King.
Yeah.
No, isn't that?
Ex Malachi, if he related to King.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. I'm telling you, you start talking and seeing people, you put those connections. I mean, it's a small world.
Yeah, about to say that's like Miss Coulter Brown. Her brother is Luke Cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had an
So
incident with that.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, you know that. She got two brothers that's famous movie stars.
My wife,
Yeah.
we went to the Comic Con in Columbus a year ago. Had a wife and kids with him. So he was signing autographs. So I went and called. I said, Mike, stop. He stopped everything. Step out the line, had a conversation. You know, my wife and daughter just sit there in awe instead of taking pictures. So we just would have a little general conversation. I said, man, get back this autograph. Those people waiting, they paid to sign.
Yeah.
And just walked off because, we grew up in the same hometown. And when they got back, they was like, yes, you knew Luke Cage. Yeah. So why weren't y'all taking pictures? And they were natural pictures, but they're sitting there in awe.
Right.
But yeah, when you start having conversations with people, man, you find out a lot. And with social media, you see a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when they pictures together like
Yeah.
that. And you might think it's just a celebrity, and that could be a first cousin. Somebody.
Right, exactly.
So don't be talking about people. You never know the kid.
The moral of the story: don't talk about folks.
You never know the kid, man.
But get back. I'm gonna get back to the clock in just a second. But I want to focus my attention. You mentioned about international players is really catching up, but also in baseball too.
Yeah.
Because
Oh man,
I'm gonna tell you, yeah,
they got it.
yeah,
I'm about to say.
yeah, Shohei Ohtani. That's the guy there. But really, the Caribbean islands, like it seemed like from the ground up.
Yep.
And I know we mentioned this in another session that we had about building up from the ground up in inner cities and why they do not do that. But now looking at the baseball, but they building up from the inner cities in Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico, and all those type of countries.
Right.
So
And the Negro leagues have a lot to do with that in those countries as well.
really,
Yeah.
hold that. Come back to you. Your thoughts
Yes, sir.
about the international?
I mean, definitely. I mean, you just think about it as far as just the dynamic of baseball, as far as when it first started off, how you know what I'm saying, somebody playing Ty Cobb and them, Cy Young, playing in a field, and then it gravitated to like the Negro Leagues and the Cool Papa Bell, the Vita Blues. Everybody started having their game. But then also you got to think about it. Those Dominican, Puerto Rican players were already here, but they learned that back home in the islands and stuff because it was already there. So that's stuff that's been inherited in them. So like basketball, football, those sports are not their first love. They don't even have like organized teams. You can go, it's almost like you go down to the islands, you can see more baseball fields than you can see more McDonald's, anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they have a field anyway. If you got an open lot, they're going to have a baseball field. You know what I'm saying? They're going to put down four bags and stuff and go out there and play baseball. You got guys out there hitting bottle caps and black eyed peas and stuff to hone their skills because they're hungry. So those guys, they're more enticing and stuff when you got these kids, the perfect game kids, the PBR kids, they're so spoon fed and they feel like they're so privileged. But you get a kid that's hungry down there and get him for cheaper, shoot, why not? And that's what happens. You got all these kids that look like us, but not us.
They're not like us.
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
and that's sad to African Americans in the sense of a sport that our ancestors fought for us to play. You know, and look how long it took them to incorporate those stats from the Negro leagues into the major leagues.
And it's still
So we had to
controversial.
play-
It's still controversial.
But it wasn't our fault. We had to play in a separate league. And some of those players was just as good or even greater than the major league players at that time.
Most of the international players, like the Japanese, learned from African Americans during the war. When we went over there, had a concentration camps and stuff, they learned from the African American like soldiers. So the Shohei Ohtani's wouldn't be there because if it wasn't for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have our footprint all over, but it just now we gravitated more towards the football and the basketball. And now they just kept going with it. So
You know what? Go ahead.
I'll speak on it from basketball standpoint. It's about development. Over here, the models flip. We play more games than practice. Over there, they practice more than they play games. And so because of that, because you're practicing more of the team game, right? Because of the practicing and more of the concepts, the individual play is better. You have a young man like Jokic who is just dominating, but he's so skilled, right? The mental aspect of it is where I feel like the international athletes have kind of taken that huge leap. You look at Luka, right?
Yeah.
Luka does this thing where it's almost like he take snapshots of the area, right, before he does something. And so it was, JJ already calls it mapping, right? The mind mapping is essentially what he does, where he can see maybe 2 or 3 plays ahead of how things are going to shape out based upon a certain movement that he would do. But like that takes a lot of time. And Luka's been playing professional basketball since he was 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
How do you defeat somebody who's been playing professional basketball against grown men since they were 15? Well,
practice.
Playing an AAU tournament, playing 4 games, you know what I'm saying, in 2 days is not making these kids any better. If anything, I find more holes in our young people's game watching that many basketball games than I do anything else because they don't spend time developing.
So now I'm going to blame 2 things then. I'm going to blame AAU for our underdevelopment players, and I'm going to blame the MLB.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
I would.
I would blame the marketing and the money that we put emphasis on scoring and hitting home runs.
That they bring into AAU.
That's what I'm about to say.
Nike, Reeboks. Look at all these sponsors.
Most of the AAU teams, they just getting it for the money.
Right.
They make it a team so they can get the money and stuff for these tournaments and stuff. But most time the coach is pocketing the money. They're not doing any development.
Well, I think AAU can't. No, the reason why we have a lot of teams is because people weren't getting opportunities because of the star athletes. The better players are getting the most attention. So if my son's not getting the attention that this 5-star is, then I'm gonna go and create my team of one stars.
But you're doing your son a disservice.
You're doing your son a disservice.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of the marketing machine. I think the money that was put behind all that, because I went to, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to camps and you know, at camps there weren't as many teams, especially in Georgia. There were only like 2 powerhouse travel ball teams. And for you to play travel ball back in the day, you had to be really, really good. Or else you were playing in your neighborhood or you were in your gym. I spent a lot of time in my summers, 95 through 98 in my high school gym. I didn't play as many, you know, games, and I got better that way, you know, from that standpoint. But then I would say the LeBron era, things slowly, surely changed and shifted because now you got this athlete that you can market. Now you got multiple athletes that you can market. Now everybody trying to be the number 1 player. And it's starting to fall for that, like in women's basketball, to where you have these athletes that are just phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily blame AAU. I think AAU is the cause of the marketing machine behind the top players. And so I want my son to have the same opportunity as this.
But I don't know.
LeBron.
I feel what you're saying, but for some reason, like AAU, especially within the past, I'm gonna say AAU didn't get popular to the 90s. Agree?
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Yeah. Early 2000s.
Back 80s, 90s, it was about camps.
Yeah.
Fundamental. Go to a camp, learn the fundamentals. Long-time coaches there teaching those camps. You got that basic basketball, that fundamental. Another thing AAU and travel baseball has robbed. Young people are not playing multiple sports. There's something.
And you brought that up before now.
There's something you can take from each sport to the primary sport you're playing.
Yeah.
Baseball, for example. Man, you got to have your head on the swivel. You got to move on every play. Well, how often you see kids standing around the basketball court now? Not moving. There's no movement. They just stand around looking instead of moving. But we were taught you move.
Keep moving.
You move. Bobby Knight, Krzyzewski, and they're not the only ones. The motion offense was so good because people move. That's a motion offense. You're moving. Right. It's not all about a set play at times.
Or standing and watching somebody go one-on-one.
There you go. That one-on-one ball. But yeah, and we did that in the playground. But that one-on-one.
That's street ball.
But then I know my boy in that corner who can knock that 3 down. You know, we give people the credit for the dribble drive, but dribble drive was made up in the playground. I don't care what nobody says. We've been dribble driving and kicking out. Now people get credit because they put a name to it, and that's what we do in our program. Dribble drive been there. A lot of things. Man, I'm telling you, you start getting this history stuff. McClendon, those guys, the fast break. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to basketball, there's things in baseball. They had to change the game of baseball because now I'm getting political because of us. You know, there's just some things that we bring to the table. Yeah, football and basketball became huge. Basketball actually you thought would have been up above football right now, but you know, it's shifted. Baseball, coming up as a youth, my first ball was a baseball. That was just a natural right. You got a baseball, you got and you threw. Everybody had a glove. We got together and played pick up baseball.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you
that
know,
don't happen in
I think I was speaking for baseball. I think they priced us out. I think baseball,
Equipment.
like what Glover
Equipment-wise,
just described, what Glover just described is very easy to do. What you do now, you can't because a baseball bat and a glove costs.
not just price them out. And I'm
$1,000 right
gonna
there.
say this. I'm gonna blame MLB. You mentioned that. You mentioned that Dominican Republic, Cuba, and all these Caribbean countries, which by the way, they are not what you call rich countries.
Not at all.
But in every corner, they so-called have a baseball diamond.
Mhm.
But guess what? Then the LA Dodgers started this, I'm going to invest into Cuba and Dominican Republic, and all these Major League Baseball teams follow. Why they could not do that without you in
They do.
New York, Chicago, LA?
They have that. It's the RBI league. So like the Chicago White Sox, the Chicago Aces, they started bringing those urban groups and stuff to try to bring baseball back. But it's kind of hard to compete. And now they're kind of late because like you said, like we talked about basketball and football is like the powerhouses now. Now you're trying to get a kid to be like, oh, I don't want to play baseball. And like you bring it that price point, shoot, $400 for a bat, $400 for a glove. Some families, low income, they can't afford that. You know, like say, you go get a basketball for $35 or $100, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And then we don't have the gentlemen from back in the past where if I didn't have a bat or a glove, they could provide one
right,
for
exactly.
us.
the
Yeah.
coach that went around with all that equipment.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with the equipment. I did baseball one year. It's a lot of work. The equipment alone is it. And now the rules, everything, you had to upgrade. Well, back in the day, you used to swing with a bat. You swung with that bat till it couldn't bat.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And you became a harder hitter because now you swinging with a old bat.
Yeah.
So you got to put more power on it versus some of the stuff now, man. You just tap it.
Yeah.
You know,
Pitcher supplying the power now. You got to swing hard.
Yeah.
If they throw 90 plus, you can hit a home run.
Yeah.
It's easy. Just meet it. That's all you got to do.
I got you. So now we let's get back on Caitlin Clark.
You see how we got off about that topic?
No, I want to get off
well,
it
you
just
throwing that
briefly.
international.
Yeah.
Baseball and basketball have that in common.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But getting back to just Clark, because it seemed like she is now, I think, getting an international impact as far as women's basketball now. Because let's be honest here, who was talking about the WNBA before?
Hey, you better be careful. They
I'm
were
about to say,
talking
they
about it
were not.
now. Was it on a national meet?
Yeah.
Nah, Monica be nothing.
Okay, no, yeah.
They gonna get
Shout
on
out
you.
to
boy.
Monica.
They gonna get on
But
you.
she
boy.
has a point to what Stephen A. Smith said about why he didn't really talk about it until this year. And now even here, we're talking about the WNBA because I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, yeah, I've known about the WNBA,
Right.
but how many sports networks, radio networks was really talking
It
about
was
that?
the lead in on the network. Not a lot.
No.
But I think you also got to have characters. I think any good story, what makes a good story is the characters. Not saying there wasn't characters in the WNBA. I'm not saying that at all. But Caitlin Clark is a she could be a villain and she could be a hero. Like she's the anti-hero in a lot of people's stories. Asia has a good story. She got a statue. You know what I'm saying? Diana Taurasi got a good story. You know what I'm saying? There's so many legends. Lisa
Go
Les,
back.
like there's so many. Cheryl Swoop, Cynthia
Swoops,
Cooper,
Cynthia,
and the league.
Parat, like there are a lot of stars. There have been a lot of stars, but I think it also takes a perfect storm. This is the media age,
That's what I
right?
said. It's a
This is the
different
media age, and Caitlin Clark is polarizing, and that is she's a character.
And when that
that
96
helps.
team hit, we went with the WNBA, but a lot of those players were on the end of their career.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get what we
Right,
get with
the
Caitlin
full-
now straight out of college. We got them. They played overseas. They had families. They were playing the WNBA, and actually it was two leagues for women. It was the ABL as well. That league folded and came together with the WNBA.
Mhm.
And we needed one league. It was hard.
Yeah, they
Just like you say, football, it's hard with two professional league.
They had to go
Even
overseas
with
to
basketball, there's always a history. The ABA joined the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about Caitlin Clark with the WNBA. Well, with the NBA, Magic and Bird.
Yeah.
The
They were
most
characters.
watched college basketball game.
Still.
And where did it transfer to?
NBA.
NBA.
Followed them.
Now the Michael Jordans and everybody else took it on up, but
Mhm.
and they were great players. You can't tell me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, our son, is the
Were
greatest
great.
player I ever seen.
Will Chamberlain.
In my eyes, I didn't see
Harlem native.
but because he
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
played for 20, he had the scoring record before LeBron. His game changed with his career as he went by. He changed his game. He was a dominant figure in the paint, but then he had to go to the. We know him as a sky hooker. We didn't know that dominant person who took over a game.
73
You know,
championship.
Yeah, and he won.
championship.
He won what? He had 6 rings, 5 with the Lakers, one
with Milwaukee.
Mhm.
But we're not putting him up there with the GOAT because of what? A lot of people saw it. Media and all that other stuff.
Mhm.
He didn't play for Boston.
Shoot,
He didn't
think
play
about
for New
Bill
York.
Russell, 11.
He didn't play for LA. Those teams were on TV. That's who you see a lot of the footage of. Matter of fact, with Boston and Bill Russell, man, you can find all kind of footage on them.
Right.
But Wilt Chamberlain, when he scored that 100-point, what we see?
Yeah.
The
Picture.
Yeah.
We don't see the game.
The guy.
They supposedly had the game now. Like they got some film, but it looks so doctored and CGI.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know if it's real or not.
I'll say it's not real. Now, I think, again, let me play the role of, might have some comments when I say this. Reason why I think the WNBA is not just Caitlin Clark. And I'm going to say this. Angel Reese and who's the girl that came from USC? Camilla? Cardoza.
Yeah.
Right. Let me tell you something, folks. The WNBA is on the rise for a reason. They are Sports Illustrated cover friendly. And I'm going to say this. And the reason why I'm going to say this is because how many WNBA players you seen that was hitting the Met Gala? Angel Reese did that. Okay? Now all of a sudden, these teams are having runway pictures before the games.
They get that from the NBA.
The
like
walk-in.
that.
The walk-ins now.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
think I give the women. I think the women are more stylish.
Yeah, the women more stylish. The men, I don't know what the world they be wearing first off, but it's coming from the marketing thing because they're trying to boost up the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, like the whole Caitlin Clark, they got to have a identity for the league.
Mhm.
I just feel like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up the marketing. The runway thing, that's
That's market. But they didn't have that runway thing about 5 years ago.
No.
Now,
It probably was there, it just wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't pulled. The marketing as far as the NBA, like working.
It's definitely shifted. You could
Yeah, working in the NBA, like I seen like the WNBA started mimicking some of the good practices of the NBA. And now what they're trying to do is they're trying to show the behind scenes because if you just see the women on the court, you don't know who they are as people.
And
So-
the bubble did some of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
now you've seen them off the court. So it's getting them more personality and stuff. So they're just trying to bring more flair to it. And then having Caitlin Clark in the social media age, it kind of adds to it. But what happened was her and Angel Reese at Iowa and LSU, that kind of brought
and
the
it
whole
brought it-
See,
energy to it. So
can't
now,
have a Magic Johnson without Larry Bird and vice versa.
and that's what that's going to be. And now you got Chicago Sky and what's the team?
Indiana Fever.
Indiana Fever. I mean, that's almost Larry Bird and daggone Michael Jordan. I mean, you think about it, you don't say so. They literally bringing that whole history back in the WA. So they're trying to build something up.
I would wonder how many people knew the names of the teams before this whole
Right.
media burst.
Right.
They about to make an expansion though. Golden State about to get the Valkyrie.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying
they
the
built
names
it, but
of the
yeah,
teams.
Well, I'm gonna take a shot at.
I
all
came
those.
in with the comments.
Yeah, the Houston Comets.
Yeah.
It was the Cleveland Rockers.
Right.
Yeah.
With Orlando, what the women's team was?
Mystics.
Miracles.
No, that was the Washington
It was
Mystics.
the Miami Soul.
Washington.
Washington's still around. Mystics still around.
Mystics.
Atlanta Dream,
Yeah.
You had a Utah Star.
the Utah Star.
Sparks.
Some of these teams are still there, but they moved and
LA
changed
Sparks.
names. LA Sparks is still there. That's the original team.
Yep.
Mhm.
You had the Charlotte Sting.
Right.
That was
That was Don Staley.
Don Staley's team.
That
Yeah,
was
Don
the game.
Staley.
We used to go see the Charlotte Sting.
Mhm. And then the Liberty, of course.
The Liberty's still there. The Sun is a newer team.
Mhm.
Seattle had their team, but
Seattle had
Seattle
a
lost
team.
their team.
No,
They
they
got their team.
still got
No, I'm
Storm.
saying they had a team when the
Yeah,
Sonics.
the men's
Yeah.
team, the women's still there.
Still.
Portland had a women's team. Can't think of the name of it. Portland had
Oh,
a team.
bro.
I remember they was on Lifetime. That's how long ago. I remember.
Yeah, they play games on Lifetime. They play games on Lifetime.
That's another reason why they lost a lot of viewership because not too many men
Yeah,
were watching Lifetime. I just remember when my mom watching TV, she turned Lifetime. Me and my dad got up and went in the other room.
Right.
Even though we saw a game, we saw Lifetime. Like, you know what I'm saying? It messed us up. If it was on ESPN, we probably said that.
Now it's on
You
Ion.
had champion.
So
When the comments media run, ABC had all that.
yeah.
NBC because they was doing that.
NBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had
I'm about to say, they're going back to NBC now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But see,
That's going to shift.
But see, now you say, okay, now they having flair. So now I say, once again, if you have flair, you have people watching, you have people. Why is Caitlyn not on the Olympic team?
Because she
I'm gonna say this comment because you said it off there. Every number one draft pick for the WNBA has played on the Olympic team except for Caitlyn.
But has they played in an Olympic year?
right, exactly. That's another thing too. You gotta look at. On top of that,
Let's go back. I'm looking at the team now.
Look,
There's some heavy hitters on this team.
of course,
Okay.
all right.
You might can say some things, but
Diana Taurasi was the only questionable pick because Caitlin Clark has better numbers. She's ranked.
But see, that
higher,
was
better
legacy
numbers.
pick.
No, I get.
That was
Oh,
legacy pick.
well, LeBron is playing this year, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So legacy pick.
but LeBron still is a top player in the league.
Yeah.
yeah.
Rossi?
She still is.
Yeah, she's.
How many? What's
I'm
she
not
averaging?
saying she's 41. So
But how much she averaging though?
I didn't see the numbers. I know
was looking
I know
at
that
the
Caitlin
roster.
Clark had
I forgot Breonna
had
Stewart.
better numbers.
Again, Caitlyn Clark
She
is
shouldn't-
prime
she need to get more.
time.
No,
And there's 4 aces on the team. There's 4 Las Vegas aces.
yeah, because they won the championship.
They won a
Makes sense.
championship. Maybe it makes sense. Yeah, but
Yes,
prime
Stewie will be on the team.
Yeah.
Stewie will be
But
on
I'm
the
saying prime
Plum.
time. People are not listening to
No,
me,
you
folks.
understand? Yeah,
Prime.
she was prime. She
time.
still got to prove herself. That's one thing. I feel like she still got to prove herself. Yes, she did what she
Okay.
did in college, but now she in the league. I feel like, and like we said, was it a draft year?
Wait, what if she didn't have a good?
Olympic
and
year?
What if she didn't play good at the trials, CJ? What if she didn't play good against those
It's something
12?
there.
Yeah,
prime.
And then
but
we
it
don't
is-
want-
What
they
if
don't
she
want
didn't play
controversy.
well? What if she didn't shoot well or play well?
We don't want the late.
They don't, and that's controversy. They don't want the controversy because you got to think about it. A lot of people was saying about she was flopping. They was bringing all that. Like, okay, now you got to think about the whole stage. They're not looking for glitz and glamour for the Olympics. That's winning the gold for the country.
Yeah.
That's no marketing. We trying to win. We don't care about your polarized what you did in college, what you doing. We want to win the gold.
How many Michael Jordan Olympic jerseys you still see around?
A lot.
Huh?
You see?
I think Caitlin can
During
sell
the
jerseys.
Uh,
Yeah, during the Olympics,
I think Caitlin can sell.
she'll
I think
sell
she's a draw. But what I'm saying, I really think she didn't play well during the trials.
Nah,
I really don't think she played well enough to make the team this
especially
year.
not against them. I promise you.
Okay.
She can
Because
run
she
the gun.
gets, I mean, the way they are guarding her, and like I was just watching old girl last night from the Sun. Picking her pocket, how about like Raven did in the championship? Like,
Right.
I honestly think, I don't think it's anything political or anything else. I just don't think she played well. During the tryouts.
I get what you're saying, but on a recent WNBA game
Who she
when
was
the
taking off?
Mystics played the Indiana Fever, 2 teams who combined have a record of 3-26, but they played in front of a packed house.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin Clark is prime time. So if
I
I
understand that, but what if she's
advertising
not
money,
good?
everything.
But you're not.
You want her to be good,
Olympics
too.
Olympics is not about advertising.
You want her to
Oh no!
The Olympics got their own advertising, but they got their own.
brand.
Yeah,
They got
that's
their
their
own
own brand.
How
USA. You don't like her being a part of that. Like for instance, think about the Redeem team. They wasn't going. They was going with the best players to win the gold. They're going with the best players to win the gold. Her and the way she plays would not fit the chemistry of that team. That's how I feel.
Well, I'm not taking that away. I seriously believe she did not have a good tryout. I just don't think she played well during the tryout. She did not earn her pride on
I
the
don't
team
think.
that year.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think she's gonna make the 2028.
No, I think she.
Whoa.
I think
Whoa,
because
hot take?
she can shoot the basketball. I think
She can
because
shoot.
because
She
she
can
can shoot the basketball. That's a high level skill. Her comparison is Steph, right? So like that is a high praise.
I'm
But
hoping
I
she
just
can
think
keep it
in
up.
with that particular group, I don't think she played well. That's the only reason why I wouldn't see her on the team.
I think honestly they probably didn't really want to get along with her. But again,
Facts. That could be.
I'm
true.
going no, because
That's true.
that has come up too. Because her Indiana Fever players, okay, when she
Think they'll
got
like it?
fouled the other day, when she got fouled hard,
Right.
I think Mona
Nobody
McNutt
stood
or
up
somebody's there, like nobody did come up for her. Now, had that been say Asia Wilson, I think the whole Aces team would have got off the bench.
Well, you can't compare the Aces. The Aces are a whole different organism.
Not even the Aces. Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. Asia Wilson is proven. You hear me? She a gold medal winner, and she a 2-time MVP. And she won championships. Yeah, and national championships. She got, we're going to pick her up.
She got a statue, big dog.
I got you.
She is the franchise. She is the franchise. Get her up. Caitlin, like, she been doing all this stuff. Like, hey, girl, get up. You still got to get your due because everybody feel like that.
Look, all I got to say is she's the first woman player to sign a multi-million dollar.
That's a slap in the face, too, though. I ain't going to say a lie.
She is.
Slap in the face.
Yeah, I feel like Asia should have had it before. I feel like...
Again, that's the establishment.
Right, I understand. But I'm just saying, like, you got to think about it. Like, every time when Nike goes to those big deals, they go to the player that has the most at the time. They don't go to no name person. Soon as she got into the league, she had a Nike deal. That's crazy.
Now, do you blame Caitlin or should you blame her agent being good?
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. No,
I'm not blaming whoever's behind her is really pushing the narrative.
Right. They are striking while the iron's hot. Yeah. They did a perfect thing. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is, like, you have players doing that prior to her, and they still was like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, now Asia getting the shoe deal. Now she getting the store in 5 points. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's big.
Do we make everything black and white?
No, I ain't saying that.
No, I'm asking.
No, we don't say that, but it's the underlying thing. I don't know if we can say this on the show, but hey, WNBA, if you look at it, the percentage of African Americans to white, that's very low. So when you got one that's up there,
right?
Oh, they're gonna polarize.
It's the great white hope.
Yeah, they
look. Okay,
the next Luka for them.
Matter of fact, I'll take it back with you. Football, you know, we have a big percentage of African Americans in that. Yeah. But once Tim Tebow got there,
he was the legends and the virgin. That's what they said. That's the reason why. That's the reason why he was. He was with the Broncos. I mean, you gotta think about it. 2-time national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, could have won 2. He was a preacher. You know what I'm saying? A minister. He was a virgin. All these people. He was like the poster child for America. Like, this is America right here. The man is a Christian.
Something there.
You know, he's a Christian. He's a virgin. He's all about, you know, saying good rights and everything. Yes, we're going to support him. But was he really good?
So could be the problem is that she's not on the team because she doesn't represent America? Because if you look at that team, she's small town Iowa.
No, she represents America.
That's what I'm saying.
But
like,
she represents.
Like the reason why they got behind her is because Asia doesn't represent America. The colored hair, all of the things that make up our culture,
and the stuff she said, and
the stuff, our culture, right? They don't. The establishment doesn't consider that America.
That congresswoman, what's her name?
Crockett.
She
be on it.
Made a statement similar to that. About, you know, she has all this and that, and because she's the African American woman, she doesn't get the same respect.
We need to reevaluate what America is.
Exactly. I'm 100% with you, because we could talk about stacking in sports. We could talk about all that. I can tell you a whole bunch of that.
Okay.
So
if we truly go what America's supposed to be, you know, it's all about the melting pot, the immigrants, and everybody else coming over and making this great nation. But we're not true.
This is not a history pod.
No, I know, but history and sports can tie in together.
Yeah, but it's a lot of the politics stuff, like Coach Glover said. It's a lot of the politics.
History and sports go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, yeah,
you can always look at the era of sports and know what era of history we're in.
I mean, I can even think about a time when I was in high school, 9/11 happened. And just far as the World Series and stuff, like who was in the World Series during that time period?
Yankees and Arizona.
And who won?
Arizona.
But look how the country like supported the Yankees and everything because of all that.
Name,
You know what I'm saying? That's a history that we're gonna be ingrained to us for the rest of our life. But sports carried us through that time period.
Yeah.
Sometimes sports.
What happened?
Yeah, sports. Yeah, like you literally can go to every historical time period in your life and you can relate a sport like event to
the
it.
OJ trial.
Yeah.
OJ
See what I'm saying? Like you can think about every single thing. Like
just imagine Joe Namath in this era.
Man,
Joe was Hollywood back then
with the fur coat on the side.
Right. Yeah.
He already predicted. He already said he was winning the Super Bowl and stuff. He had social media back then. Twitter would have been stupid. It would have been blown up.
Yeah. A lot of sports.
New York. Walt Frazier. Walt was doing that too.
Yeah.
Who's from Atlanta, by the way. Walt Clyde Frazier was from Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
People on that.
Big shout out there.
He played for New York.
Yeah, he played for New York. So, you know.
All clans concerned, he's from New York.
Yeah, he's from New York. He's from New York. As far as I'm concerned.
Mama named P. I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
Right. That boy good.
That boy good, yeah. He got us 2 championships. And I wasn't born for neither one of them. But that's another situation. But no, but the reason why I'm for Caitlin Clark, for me, I think because as a TV, if I'm a TV executive, I am mad because I paid all this money for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And to put Caitlin Clark there on the team, I don't care if she's just riding the bench. You are going to have your viewers. You're going to have your viewers. And that goes into advertising.
Your hand?
No, I was just trying to be funny. Because it doesn't matter about the name. It's just the country. Because you got to think about it. People going to watch the Olympics. I don't care what's going on. When the Olympics come, everybody's supporting the United States. They're going to support their country.
Or their country.
So if Caitlin Clark's on the team or not, they don't care about that. Yeah, people are like, oh, it sucks she's not on there, but USA is representing us in basketball, and we're going to support that team. If it was no names on that team, they're going to support it
because of the USA.
Because we want to be the best country in the world.
Right. When it comes to the Olympics, this is about track and field gymnastics.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say yeah. Outside of
that's must watch TV. That's
the prime time.
Yeah, that's it.
The 200 to 100. That's it.
Who's the fastest human being alive? Right.
Or swimming. I tune in.
Mike Phelps, he had a good run. Now it's like. Who's
watching swimming now?
Watching. When Mike Phelps going through that whole time, everybody watched.
Usain Bolt, when he was running, it was like it was all the storylines.
Yeah.
Like I think they
who can't be on Bolt this year,
but I think Caitlin's gonna be the storyline for the Olympics. The crazy thing is, even though she didn't make the team, she's still going to be the storyline. She's going to be the storyline regardless.
Sha'Carri Richardson is the one to watch the whole thing. I guarantee you, if they look at the Nelson ratings for that, when she touches the track, TV, everybody's going to stop what they're doing. Everybody's going to watch that.
But she also has some controversy.
And Caitlin going to have maybe she has to be a similar story.
Like Sha'Carri
was not on the team.
Yep.
Right.
It'd be a redemption.
Yeah, again,
let me show you all what I got.
But just bottom line, I think they just missed the ball on this one this time.
I don't know. that roster stack.
The roster stack is talented, but again, if I'm looking at it as a money making type thing,
but the Olympics they trying to make
They got but see, Olympics we like Coach Williams said, Olympics you can't do that 1-on-1 ball. It's got to be team ball because the international players they're doing, and especially in women's basketball. I tell people all the time, I don't know basketball. But when I watch basketball, I watch more WNBA than NBA. Reason being because it's more fundamental. The NBA, it's all 1-on-1. I done saw this up close, you know what I'm saying, and everything. I'm like,
playoffs.
Yeah, to the playoffs. Yeah, then they start doing it. But WNBA from the start to the finish, they actually, if you want to understand basketball, they play team basketball. So in the Olympics, you can't do that 1-on-1. That's why sometimes our men's team struggle because everybody try to go off their superstar status and it mess up. So that's why like the roster that they built, I'm like, okay, maybe I can see something. But then you start thinking about teams like when Luka going back over there, there's some guys that's out there better than Luka, you know what I'm saying?
Styles make fights.
And you know, if a loss comes up, now you're gonna hear the talk.
Yep.
But
they have, if they had Caitlin Clark,
they lost.
They would have hit those threes. Like
they lost since '92.
Oh,
the women. I don't think they've
been down the area for a long time.
Yeah. Women's. I thought you were talking about the men's.
They buy like the redeemed the dream teams now. They just keep winning. Like now teams are trying to beat them. It's hard.
That's because you said fundamentals. So the American women players have better fundamentals than the international players. The women's side, on the women's side.
Yeah, the American. Yeah.
You think?
Reason being,
rest in peace to Gigi. I think Gigi would have been a dog.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would have loved to see her, boy. Because you could bloodline her daddy.
In the women's game, they're staying in school 4 years.
Yep.
So that makes a difference.
They get more experience, more development. There's not no one and done females. You know what I'm saying? They were saying the young lady from USC could be one and done.
Juju could have did it.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there's not.
Paige could have done it.
You don't see the one and dones like that. No. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the one and dones for the men, that's because I think, number one, they want to get that money. Mm-hmm. So I think now is a kind of a blurred line as far as athletics go, because either you want to stay for the fundamentals and build yourself up, or you want to go ahead and get that cash grab and help out.
Well, I think with NIL, you ain't gonna have a lot of guys do the one and done.
Right, yeah.
The money thing is that you want to improve your draft status. Is that the quote unquote draft this year is weak. there aren't a lot of guys withdrew their name that were freshmen that are not, they even transferred or coming back to college basketball.
Right.
You're going to see, I think you're going to have more male stars like we had back in the 90s, 80s and
college?
90s.
Yeah,
I think more on the men's side, like
Because
like
that
the
money.
women. Now the women going to have stars because you could build your fan base. Like Caitlyn built her fan base over 4 years.
Mhm.
Juju's going to build her fan base. Paige is going to build her fan base. Diana, Rebecca, all, you know,
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Sale, like all of them built, the Tennessee teams built their fan base. I think college men's is going to get back to that because of the NIL. That's going to help the game, I think, in that way, with guys being able to make money while they're in college and still develop and try to improve their draft status outside of trying to go one and done.
That's just
Unless
like
you're just super talented.
Just like Shador. Shador had an opportunity to go to the draft, but he stayed because the amount of money he
It wasn't
made.
that good anyway.
Right, but the amount of money he made in NIL, he would have made way more as a rookie deal. So he stayed. So, I mean,
Yeah, I think the NIL deal, I think is getting out there to the point, well, to the big schools.
Well, the people that got collectives,
It seemed like these NIL deals, I'm hearing 3 million here, 4 million there. So it entices them to stay
right.
instead of going off to the NFL. But what about the smaller schools that doesn't have the big time NIL deals, but they have the players that could possibly play?
gotta get creative.
Mm-hmm.
Your branding, your marketing. You got to have branding and marketing teams that can go into these businesses. I mean, a car dealership if I was in college and a car dealership gave me $100,000 and a truck, I would have stayed. Like that's a decent NIL deal for a poor kid from, a middle class family in Georgia, right?
Mm.
So I think the level, what we're talking about is levels. If you're at a Clemson, you're gonna have a bigger pool to pull money from because you got a bigger alumni base. But if you're a Voorhees, there are some businesses that could, do some things. But I think it's a matter of your mouthpiece. Like who's
Now,
talking?
If we really want to be honest about the NIL collectives, they're just technically just the new face of the boosters clubs.
Yeah.
They just put a new
We've
name.
always
on it.
had
Yeah,
that.
it's always been there, but now they get it. It's more legalized. Now the booster, like instead of me giving you $1 million, I could put it in the collective to go to you. So now it's like not money laundering, but it's more. It's clean. It's clean money. It's
clean money.
Hey.
No
You go-
comment.
I'm about to say, because you got to think about like Reggie Bush and Cam Newton, all of them, like his uncle, like whole Cam Newton, he was on his podcast, 4th and 1. He was talking about how him and his mom was laughing, like, who got $180,000? Like, did you get it? And it was coming to find out, like, their dad or their uncle got it. You know what I'm saying? But now the NIL, shoot, now they put it in there, the boosters put it in there, like, but the small schools, they're not marketable as
No
like
more
USC.
death penalties. SMU got the death penalty, and they were
And it killed their program.
Yeah.
It's like,
Because they never recovered from
Yeah,
it.
that's I'm about to say it hurts. But see, the thing is though, like those small programs, like the SMU, like the small schools, like the mid majors and stuff.
Private schools.
Yeah, small private schools.
But Miami's private, and they got away with it.
But see,
That was Uncle Luke.
yeah, that was what I was about to say. I was about to say.
Miami University is a private university.
Yeah, but that was
What are
Uncle
you
Luke.
trying to say, Coach?
Yeah, in other news.
What I'm saying is,
Next
that's
time
been happening.
Coach's Corner.
It's been so taboo for so long, and now it's like out in the open that, you know what I'm saying? Now it is the system that it should have been for so long. I think now it is what it should have been for so long. It should never been the elephant in the room or taboo. It should have been what it was. You have alumni who make money and they give back to their school, and they were giving back to the athletic program.
Or benefactors.
Yeah.
Benefactors.
With the endowment, with the endowment.
It would have been okay if they gave it to the chemistry department. But as soon as they give
That's the problem.
as soon as they
That's
give
the
to
problem.
athletics,
That money
it's
was
a
going to the
problem.
chemistry department.
Yeah, if it goes to the chemistry department, everything good.
Everything good.
If they get laptops or smart boards for business, everything good.
Old school coach.
As soon as he pull up in a Lamborghini, it's a wrap.
If I'm teaching in the chemistry department, nobody but my supervisor can tell me how to do my job.
Mhm.
You coaching out on that field, everybody in the stands, they can tell you how to do your job.
Right. That's true. That's true.
But I guess that's the thing. Coaching. I mean, public criticism, public opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's sport, but a lot of people watch and they
On that level,
Yeah.
coaches get death threats.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Players.
Man.
But I mean, I'm not taking that away from education because you got to have that foundation.
Mhm.
But they get some threats too, but we don't hear about it like that.
But see, I think
But you
Vegas plays a role in this too.
No,
You said what?
Vegas plays a role in this too.
We don't wanna think
I think Vegas plays a role in it
betting now.
Betting,
Yeah,
because it's
Hey, I'm
it's
about to
such
say,
a-
we talking about the
Pete Rose, let Pete Rose in.
Nobody ain't do that. Nobody bet on games
Even
and shade
referees,
points.
some
Nobody-
referees.
We'll
I'm about to say-
hold that. We'll hold that for the next session. Let's hold that for the next session. The referees stuff. Let's hold that for the next.
But Pete Rose need to be in the Hall of Fame. That's all I gotta say.
I got you.
4,200 hits. That's impossible. I don't care. And he was betting for him like that. That's it.
He
See?
choked up on the bat. He was a choke.
Betting.
He choked.
Our next session.
Man.
Make sure you stay tuned.
Barry Bonds, I had hit coordinations.
Yeah,
Hit
I don't care how strong
I
you
couldn't
be.
go hit that many home runs.
Right.
I don't
Even
know. I'm like,
let me not. We got to wrap this up. But gentlemen, again, great lively conversation that we had here today, and I do appreciate each and every one of you coming down here, spending some time with me, and talking some topics and whatnot. And of course, as always, you're invited to come back for the next one. How about that?
Thanks, sir.
That's good.
Appreciate it. Thank
man.
you.
All right.
Y'all put this on.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to the Coach's Corner. I'm Clarence Jones. Thank you so very much. And make sure you please like and subscribe our YouTube pages at Voorhees University 1897 and Voorhees University Athletics as well. And also follow us on Facebook at Voorhees University. For everybody here, have a great night, a great week, a great whatever, and we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
VU men's basketball on Instagram.
WBB Instagram.
Just follow baseball.
That's all for this episode. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Until the next episode, keep it real and keep it Voorhees.